So today with me I have Ekaterina Lyubomirova, and I know I just butchered that, so you can correct me. So Ekaterina, I understand that you are a student at the University of Houston. You are currently studying in the accounting program, the 5-year program, although it sounded like you're going to complete it in 4 years, which is astounding. So that's really great. Can you just tell me a little bit more about the program and how you started in the program?
Yeah, well, I wanted to go to a university that was close to my home, my family. So I commute, well, I used to commute, and I was really interested in just business in general, but I had no idea what I wanted to do. And so whenever I came into the honors college, I took a class with Dr. Michael Newman, who taught accounting, financial and managerial. And if anyone knows Dr. Newman, he's very vocal and enthusiastic about accounting, and just his view on life and his outlook, it just kind of drew me into that profession. And I had misconceptions about what accounting was and what kind of people the career attracted. But I think he was able to dispel that. And as I became more involved with organizations like BAP and TXCPA, it really kind of changed my perception.
So we have Dr. Newman to thank then for helping you to find your way to the accounting profession. That's great. Or going back to when you started at U of H, and I believe are you in your senior year, your last year of the 5-year program, or do you still have a year to go? Forget.
I still have a year to go, and then another year for the master's.
Okay.
So I'm in the middle.
Okay, you're in the middle of it. Okay. So before when you arrived on campus, did you know, accounting is this is the way I want to go, I want to get a degree in accounting, or did you start off sort of undeclared and then just kind of gravitate towards the accounting program?
I had no idea. I was in the honors college. I was taking the core classes, but I kind of wanted to do MIS, and then accounting drew me in, so I decided to kind of combine those two. So that's what I'm rolling with. Yeah. At first, I was enrolled as an economics student, so that meant the College of Liberal Arts. But then I saw someone representing the Bauer College of Business, which is a different college, and I really liked the way he spoke, and just something about business attracted me. And I contacted the counselor, who's Colleen Davies, and she was able to help me switch over to the Bauer College of Business.
They probably offer maybe a specialization in both MIS and accounting.
I'm planning to do a minor in MIS and then a major in accounting, but there is a class that I just took that kind of combines both. From what I've seen, it's called Accounting Information Systems. And so it's really interesting to see the combination kind of increase, and so.
And so there was a 5-year requirement in Texas in order to sit for the CPA exam. Did that dissuade you at all in choosing, were you kind of weighing well, I've got to go to school an extra year if I want to pursue the CPA exam, but it sounds like it didn't. Did that factor into your decision at all?
I don't think it did, because sitting down with my counselor, Colleen Davies, she was really good at explaining that with the program, it kind of gave me the credits that I needed to sit. To be honest, going into freshman year, I had no idea about the requirements about the CPA exam. And I think a lot of students don't really know until they have to apply and begin the process. So I had no idea going in freshman year what kinds of year requirements and class requirements I needed to sit for the CPA.
And so, that is an extra year. There's a little more financial burden. And what sort of, financial aid options, or, were there grants or scholarships that you were able to pursue in order to subsidize that cost?
Yeah, I know. I received the Honors College gives out a lot of scholarships, and I received a couple of scholarships. I know the first year my first year of college was paid for through scholarships. But going on, I think just balancing a few scholarships along with working part-time is going to be the way that I kind of work through college. Yeah, I know TXCPA is also offers a lot of scholarships, so I'm planning on applying for those as well.
Well, good. Yeah, definitely would encourage you to take advantage of that. And you're right. The Society of the Houston chapter does offer scholarships for accounting students. So definitely worth checking out to help defray some of those costs. And so talking about TXCPA Houston more in depth, how did you come across Student Auxiliary? And currently you're the president of the Student Auxiliary. So just tell me about that process and how you got involved and what it's like being president.
Yeah, so I actually found out about TXCPA Houston Student Auxiliary in freshman year, so about last year, through another organization that shared a flyer of the forensic accounting event that was held that fall. And I had never heard about forensic accounting. You know, I've kind of been aware of the audit versus tax, but I had vague conceptions of both, and I wanted to find out more. So, you know, I went to the event. It was on a Friday, and the first thing that stuck out to me was that I was able to recognize so many students that I had seen on campus and worked with before. And so just like that feeling of familiarity is what drew me to the Student Auxiliary. And one of the people that I recognized, who was actually the president, knew, she reached out that spring and she said, you know, do you want to, you know, interview for an officer position? I was like, sure, of course. I'd love to be involved. I was a commuter at the time, so it was a little difficult to make all the meetings, but I think with the virtual shift, it would have been, and it has been a bit easier for me to be more involved with different organizations. And so I interviewed, and I originally interviewed for VP of Development, but I finished the interview, and then one of the officers reached out, and they were like, hey, I think you should run for president. And I was like, no, I shouldn't. I'm not really good at, I've never had that sort of forefront leadership position. But then I think Carol or someone from the committee reached out and said, hey, we want to consider you for president. And I said, I agreed. And then that's how this happened. Yeah.
I hear that story so much. It just takes somebody reaching out and kind of grabbing you and saying, hey, come to this meeting, check it out, and let's look into this. And so it sounded like in this case, the position for president was open, and you got encouragement from members of TXCPA Houston and the staff to pursue that. So it's great.
Yeah, and I often wonder, like, there's so many what ifs. Like, what if I never saw that flyer? What if I had left the group me before the flyer was sent? What if, you know, there wasn't a virtual shift and, you know, I wasn't able to make as many or be as involved as it could have been? There's so many what ifs that is just crazy to think about, you know.
And can you talk a little bit more about what it is that the Student Auxiliary does and I guess what your day-to-day role is as president?
Yeah, so the Student Auxiliary creates and hosts events for accounting students and professionals to kind of come together and hear from panelists in different service lines, different firm sizes, different backgrounds. That's what we're looking for, just like a balance, so that students kind of like me who are starting out, who don't really know what they want to do in accounting, as well as students who are well-versed and know what they want to do. We just want to be the resource that students and professionals go to network, to find out more about different firms, different service lines, different experiences. So that's what we look at ourselves as. And it's great that we're run by students and also a committee of more experienced professionals who can give us guidance. So it really benefits everyone. In my day-to-day, I think we've been really careful about when to plan. So we've been really organized. And so a day-to-day would be like drafting the agenda for an event, sending it to the other officers, commenting on it, making sure that all of us are communicating at least once or twice a week during the semester. But during break, we're working really hard, preparing schedules, agendas, questions. And I think the funnest part was at the beginning of our of the fall semester when we were drafting event ideas. So this was our time to get really creative and tinker with the format of the event, especially now that we're virtual. So it's been a change, and our day-to-day is just kind of making sure that we have all the materials that we need to make an event successful.
Yeah, that's great. I know you all are very active within the society, the Student Auxiliary is, and that's wonderful. I think you almost have a one event per month, I think, on average, if not at least once every 2 months. Are there, talking about the spring semester, which is coming up, what events do you have coming up that you're excited about?
I'm really excited, about all of them, but we've been trying out different formats for the events. So currently we have we have 2 different alternatives. So we've broken up, energy, sports and entertainment, the financial industry, healthcare into 2 different events where people can learn more about industries and career lines outside of public accounting. And yeah, I'm super excited. We have an Excel workshop. So we're having a variety of different panels, workshops. We're trying to get a social as well, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so I'm just really looking forward to all those activities.
They sound great. Yeah, it sounds like you all have some really interesting ideas, and I really enjoy hearing about the titles of these some of these presentations that you all put on. So looking forward to some of those creative titles for the coming spring semester. Any other thoughts for students who are not active in TXCPA Houston, in Student Auxiliary? Like, why should they join? I mean, I think you've sold it pretty well thus far, but what words of encouragement would you have for any students who are in the accounting, on the accounting track and looking for maybe some support or ways to kind of get more involved in their intended profession?
Mm-hmm. I think just starting out, students like me who had no idea what kind of service line or what sector of accounting to go into, and that could be a really difficult decision. And I want the Student Auxiliary in TXCPA to be that resource that you go to make that career choice less daunting and easier. And I think that's what happened to me. Not only that, but I want students to have and to build their own network. And I think especially now with this virtual shift, it's become a lot easier to do that. You don't have that commute, you don't have those traditional Friday night activities. And I think the Student Auxiliary gives you that sense of community and that networking. We've had record attendance. We've had about 70 professionals and students attend each event. And that's a huge milestone for us. So we're only growing, and yeah, we just want to be that resource.
And so for anybody who's watching and listening to this and is interested in getting involved in the Student Auxiliary, what's the best way? I guess just reach out to TXCPA Houston. Probably Carol Spencer would be a point of contact. I guess go to the social media channels, LinkedIn, Twitter, and I believe things are posted there. But what do you think is the best way for somebody to get involved if they're interested?
Yeah, all the ways that you mentioned. LinkedIn is really popular. We're trying to be a lot more involved with social media like Instagram, LinkedIn, email Carol Spencer. Yeah, find us on LinkedIn. Also visit our website. I think it's houstoncpa.org, and you'll see all the events that we have as Student Auxiliary. Yeah, so just don't be afraid to kind of make that first move, because you never know what could happen. There's only good things with us, so yeah.
It sounds like a very welcoming group too. I think anybody who's interested would be welcome with open arms. So that's great. So talking a little bit more about your future, I guess, after, I know sounds like you still have a year or two left of schooling. What do you want to do then? Once you complete your degrees, it sounds like you're doing a master's and an undergraduate, right? What interests you? Where do you think you want to go with this?
I really want to travel. So I've been looking for just a position that lets me not only travel, but work with a variety of different clients internationally. Currently, I've been looking at international tax, but my main goal is to work in a position that lets me combine both technology and accounting. I feel like that's the future for the profession. And so, anything that has a big tech focus is where I want to be. But also the environment. I want to work with people that are easygoing. And I'm kind of embracing that leadership position more openly now. So yeah, just leadership position, tech, just being around good people as well. So those are my plans.
Well, accountants are known for being kind of shy and introverted. Most accountants are good people. So I think you've chosen a great field to pursue, and I wish you the best of luck in the coming semester and beyond, and really appreciate your time today, Ekaterina, for meeting with us.
Thank you so much, Ryan. It was great. Okay.
Is there anything else you wanted to cover that we didn't talk about?
I would encourage students to not only be active in the organization as a member or as someone who attends events, but to apply and become an officer to any organization that you're in. Just seek out those opportunities where you can make a change. And that's by being an officer, being more involved. I think that will definitely give you a lot of success, and it will be really fulfilling.
Yeah, I think this profession is about connections. I think anything in the business world, you hear the idiom, it's not what you know, it's who you know, right? So I think that still holds true to some extent. So any way that you can get to know other folks and build your network out like that is great. So whether it be through TXCPA Houston Student Auxiliary or other business associations. So yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Ekaterina, thank you very much for doing this. I really appreciate it.